Hey guys, welcome to Artsy Pixie. So today we're doing all sorts of Harry Potter merchandise. So let's get started. So for the first DIY, I've got my tea decoction, a A4 sheet of paper, I've got 2 toothpicks, and I've got an ink refill for a fountain pen. I've also got a small container, a feather, a plate, some brown paint, water, and my scissors. So let's get started with the paper. This is for the parchment, so you're just going to need to put it into the decoction part by part, let it soak in. Okay, so now I've put it in many times, which means that the background is done, and I'm gonna add in a little touch in the middle. So I'm gonna take my toothpick, use the back part of it, which is not pointed, and dip it in the tea decoction and start making a snitch with it. Starting off with a circle. Just make sure that this is a little darker than the rest of it so that it'll show. And now I'm gonna draw the wings. So one goes from here. I've done the outline, and I'm going to use my paintbrush and fill it in. Now I'm gonna let it dry for some time. Meanwhile, let's get on with the quill. So for this, I've got my feather. So I'm gonna, this is really grey, so I'm gonna add a few tinges of brown. For this, I'm gonna use some paint and some water. So I'm gonna take some water and really little paint, and now I am going to dip in parts of my feather into the paint like so, but I'm just doing this on one side. So the paint should sink into the feather just in places to make it look more realistic. And now I'm going to let this dry. For the ink, I've got this as my container, and I've got an ink refill which I am going to cut open using a scissors. Be careful, use some place where it's alright if ink splashes around. Now I've cut it and I'm taking my container. So sometimes the ink comes out easily, sometimes it doesn't. Now if it doesn't come out, you will want to just poke it with your scissors so that if there is any air inside or if there's an air bubble which is stopping it from coming out, it can come out. This can take some time, so just go easy, or you could cut your ink container into two so that the ink will come out easily. So now I think most of my ink is out, but just to be sure, I'm just going to take some water and pour it into the container and now empty this out. Into my ink container. So that means my ink is ready. So let's just see if we can write with our quill. I am going to grab another piece of normal paper, dip in the end of our quill into the ink and just write to it. So now my snitch has also dried, so it looks really good, the parchment looks really good, and you can use this ink and the quill to write on it. Also, if you want to make it look really old, your parchment, then you just need to use a candle and burn the edges and a little bit here and there to give it more of that worn out and old look. Now let's move on to our next DIY. Now for my second DIY, which is a Love Potion small bottle. So for this I've got a very small glass bottle from a craft store. I have some purple glitter, I have some toothpicks, white and red acrylic paints, water and my paint brushes. So I'm gonna open my bottle and start off by putting in a little bit of my red paint into the bottle. I'm going to make this a little watery so that it spreads well. You're not trying to paint the bottle, you're trying to get some watery paint inside the bottle. So I've got my red paint in, and I'm going to now put in some white paint too. You want to try to make sure that the white and red paint are equal in amount, but it's alright, it depends on what shade you want yours to be. And now I'm done with that, so I'm gonna take a nice big brush and add a lot of water inside my bottle till it's almost filled up to the top. You can always just use a cup of water to fill this in, but then I'm trying to make this really neat. Also, this will give me a better idea of how much paint I need to add in if I want to change the color. So right now it's filled like this much, so I'm going to fill it up till it comes till about here, and then I will start doing the next part of this bottle. Okay, so now I've filled it up and I've got a slight problem. The problem is that my paint is like a baby pink, and that's not the shade that we want. We want it to be a little darker, like you've seen the Love Potion in the movie. So I'm going to take a little more red paint and mix it in here so that it becomes darker. The more red paint you add, the darker your potion will be. Okay, so now I am done with mixing that, and I'm gonna add some glitter into it. Now you want to be careful when you're adding the glitter. If you add too much, it's gonna be really messy. So I'm gonna take a toothpick to add the glitter. Just use the back of your toothpick to grab some glitter and then mix it in. Right now you won't be able to see any glitter in the bottle. Also, you can try to use the cap of your bottle, of your glitter bottle, to put in some glitter. So I've used a mini jar for my potion, but if you want to use something like this glitter container that I have right here, you can go ahead. It's all up to you. So I've got enough glitter now, I think. So I'm going to put it in. And I'm going to close this, and now you want to mix it using the back of your toothpick again. This time, however, it'll mix in really nicely because now you've got a lot of glitter. You can also mix it by just putting the cork on the top of it and shaking it like so. I think now my potion looks good. And now it's time for us to make the label. So you need another sheet of paper. I'm just using normal A4 sheet paper, and I'm gonna cut off a bit of it so that it's just big enough to fit to this, but it's not the whole size of this. So I'm gonna cut a small strip like so. So now my strip is ready. I'm just gonna check how long I need it to be and if I want to make it thinner. So right now the length of it is perfect, but I think it's too thick, so I'm just gonna cut it up a little more so that you can see inside the bottle even from the sides. Okay, so now this is ready, and I'm gonna write on it using the quill that we made earlier. So I've added a little more ink to this. It's a little messy because there is a lot of ink. So now I'm gonna just use some really nice handwriting and write down love potion. I'm adding a small little heart over here. You can change the color of your ink by just using different color ink refills. So now this is dried, and I just dabbed it a little bit with my hand to make it that
and
old
now
effect.
I'm done with that, and I'm going to stick it onto my bottle to make it like a label.
Tape, and
I have another
just put the clear
thing
tape
that
on
I
top
made
of this when I'm sticking onto the bottle. Also, here's another DIY that I made. It's a Deathly Hallows, and it works like a bookmark. So for figuring out how to make this, you can watch one of my previous videos, which is in the link below, and I will just be putting on the tape. And now we're done with all our Harry Potter merchandise for today. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe to Artsy Pixie.